likely to get locked up instead. Cause the scumbag's got lawyers and rights, so the law lets them be. While the honest, hard-working get sharp, fight to stay free. I'll give up my gun when the birds don't fly.
Come on, Bugsy. Go home. You're a good little fella. Come on, Trongo. Get the hell out of here. Come on, mate. You've done good. Your mother will be proud. I'm very happy. Listen. Did you hear him?
Well, I'll give up my gun when the ocean runs dry. And I'll give up my gun when the sun doesn't shine. I'll give up my gun when the birds don't fly. I'll give up my gun when politicians don't lie.
G'day, Johnny. What are you doing?
Hey, I'm out walking, but what are you doing here? With that gun?
I thought I took all the guns. You didn't get them all, mate. You're not having this one.
I'm after you.
Join Mark and Todd for Weapons Wednesday, where you'll learn how to use everything from your bare hands to your average AR-15.
4th gauge autoloader,
Sure?
the 45 long slide
Yep.
with laser sighting,
You betcha.
Uzi 9mm,
Yes, sir.
phased plasma rifle, 40-watt range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay, they'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon you have, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
Now you can feel that squeaky clean sensation like none other with Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash. Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash is a unique natural formula not found in any other oral care products. With a gentle combination of zinc, folic acid, myrrh, and clove oil, Vitamer effectively whitens teeth, removes plaque, and freshens breath, and it does it naturally without any harmful chemicals. Visit us online at Vitamer.com. That's VITAMYR.com. Or call us today to place your order at 1-888-558-8482. That's 1-888-558-8482. Keep your teeth and gums healthy with Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash. Vitamer, nature's answer to healthy teeth and gums. And remember, it's all completely natural. Available at participating health food stores nationwide.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's Huntington. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
I had a dream the other night, the way you understand. A figure walking through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat. Speaking low, he said,
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first hour of the Afternoon Intelligence Report. I'm Mark Kornke. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, southwest, east, northeast, and central. Ladies and gentlemen, you were listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, AM and FM micro stations, AM and FM conventional stations, and CB base stations, along with Ultra Net Hallmark and Golden Spike technologies east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in the lower 49, which includes the great state of Jefferson, along with CONUS, the outlying two states, the territories, and the clock. It is 5:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is the 23rd of June. It is the 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K. 2020 Old Earth Calendar, 2020 Year of Conflict, Year of Battle, the Dance of Swords. We are at war. It is Communications Tuesday, by the way. Not just the 23rd of June, it is Communications Tuesday. And there's a number of overlapping considerations here with a combination of audio and visual communications that need to be impressed one way or another. Guys, a light can be seen a long, long, long way away, and in fact, it used to be the term semaphore for either flags or, don't forget, a light device that can be pointed in a direction. Now, you want to get more sophisticated? Consider this. The light device can be aimed at a very narrow objective. You take a piece of white PVC pipe, spray it black on the outside, put the light device in the base, make the PVC pipe anywhere from a foot to 2 feet long, but focus outwards to an objective, which this narrows the possibility of being observed, and unless you are in line with the light, you can't easily see. Now, the nice thing about this is there's no backwash in reverse order. In other words, there's no backlight area. Everything is covered. You conceal the light, and then you use code. It can be Morse code or a variation on Morse code for you to signal. It can be a phonetic Morse code system, kind of like the equivalent to light hieroglyphs. There's all kinds of neat tricks. Develop your ideas. And, in fact, be creative. Codes are where somebody can't figure it out because somebody's doing something different. I don't need for you to tell me. You need to keep it within your area of operation. If you've come up with a really cool idea and it works for you and it's concealable, you need to keep it that way. It's yours. Now, person-to-person sharing, that's another thing. We don't talk about most of the coding technologies because they can include voice. And if you pay attention during this program, you might notice changes in intonation. You may notice changes in meter, the speed with which something is done. That is a code. The inclusion or exclusion of a word, that is a code. The use of a single phrase, which means nothing to anyone else other than the person who needs to hear it, that is a code. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. See how that works? Now, with light, it works the same way. Now, there's a couple other tricks. With the wonderful age of laser, consider this. You can actually target an objective far across a valley, an area of operation, and create what are basically light scoops. What? An objective inside a room where you paint with the laser and do exactly what you're doing with, say, single white or visible spectrum light from the other end. You can take a laser, and if you have a pre-designated area and a pre-designated target for meeting, and an individual could walk into a ruined building, a cavernous shed, an old barn, and you watch the wall. First consideration, color. What? Well, lasers come in color, people. Purple, yellow, red, blue, green. So first you better get the color right. And if I don't see the right color at 9 o'clock at night, sitting here when I watch the tag on the shed on the inside wall hit 25 feet inside the building where nobody else can see it, I can sit from an observable point even outside the building where I can watch the wall. You think about this. The target can be splashed and hit. It's not going to be a big beam. It's going to be a dot of light. It is going to be a semaphore painting. And then I can observe with even long-range optics and code off and mark what's being said. But if I don't see red or purple or blue, then I'm leaving, because obviously somebody doesn't have the right password. And the password is color. Now, if I get the right color, then I still need to see what we call a security handshake. Now, beware, because again, if somebody's been acquired, torture has taken place, individuals are compromised. There's another thing you need to learn about. You may remember this in movies. You may have heard this with radio operators. Oh, that's Bob. I can tell by his key. Just because the combination of numbers are right doesn't mean that the code operator is the man you thought he was, or woman. So there needs to be a telltale signature motion that you and the operator know about, and preferably nobody else. This can be a cross-Xing of the, or a circle or a motion with the laser before such time as the first security code or handshake code is given. And then after that, you observe. Now, the idea is to minimize all communications of all types, because all types of communications can, and in the long run, will be intercepted, especially if you're repetitious and obvious. So prior proper planning prevents piss-poor performance with regard to operations in this area. Any number of different things. Sound can be used. Ting, 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 piece of metal across the valley at night. You can send a tremendous amount of information with one piece of metal being tapped or rung on another. Just think about that one. Anyway, night vision also enhances this. Now consider, you have infrared lasers, something I haven't even mentioned yet. Simple, low-end night vision gives you the ability to observe enhanced or intensified light, and with a night vision device, the infrared laser is just like seeing visible spectrum light. So we take the same objective inside the barn, 30, 40 feet, a wall that really can't bleed any light. You may even improve it by hanging cloth or a drape or plywood in an area so there's no light leak against the wall on the other side of the barn. Old dirty barns have holes usually, or creaks and crevices, and the wood is split. We don't want that to happen. So the dirty plywood leaned up against the wall becomes the target point so it doesn't bleed anything. And then with your night vision, from a distance away, observing that piece of plywood from a 45-degree angle from another location, you receive the message, and then you leave. Minimize. Any time where you are fixed in a location and communications is being used, just like dumping mortar rounds nowadays. Guys, you fire a round, what you do is you pre-calculate, and you do harassment, constant harassment fire. You don't fire from one place. You use your mobile mortar pad, your small speed pad, and you fire and you run. And you fire and you run. Counter battery radars, do them little of no good, especially since you can do this from multiple locations at once, and they have to keep picking which direction they want to go in. But you have to keep moving, and your team needs to be mobile. Always remember that. Not boom, boom, boom. By the third one, there'll be one coming back on you. So, boom. Any type of harassment raid on what is considered to be a developed defense grid or developed fixed point for the enemy has technologies that we are hunting and planning on destroying very, very early in the game, and killing all operators and anybody with an MOS that obviously knows how to fix them or to use them. That is the priority. That way, technology won't do if it's broken and the operators no longer exist that we're trained to use it. They become prioritized. This is what happened during the Cold War, by the way. Now, I did mention night vision, and one of our friends was talking about some of the other solutions that are out there. There's a night vision generation digital, double battery. It is a Konuspy, Konuspy. It's a cheap digital unit by comparison. Now, when I say cheap, okay, it's a Konuspy 11, 7932, magnification 3 to 6, objective lens diameter 32, 27% off free shipping. Oh, and free shipping. Present price is $279.89. A couple of people have tried these. Kind of, if you look at it, you're going to go, hey, that kind of reminds me of the binoculars that Luke used in Star Wars in the first movie. Yeah, does, kind of. Anyway, supposedly this has a wider panoramic screen. It is digital, remember, and for that reason is a different technology, but it does have the full rubber face eye area boot system. So there's no light leakage, and you don't become a moon at 300 yards or 500 yards for a guy with a rifle that goes, I think I can hit that moon. Okay? For the price, it's not a bad unit. We've had a couple of people that have tested them. They do work well. They are digital. And again, I'd point you towards Don, if Don were still alive, but Don's not with us anymore, and nobody on our end wants to pick up the night vision gauntlet. We've got enough to keep us busy as it is. And there's enough companies out there that are providing the tools. You can search around. You can go to Sportsman's Guide. In this case, this is at opticsplanet.com, opticsplanet.com, opticsplanet.com. That is opticsplanet.com. Oscar, Papa, Tango, India, Charlie, Sierra, Papa, Lima, Alpha, November, Echo, Tango, Dot, Charlie, Oscar, Mama, Michael. Anyway, as it is, opticsplanet.com is got some good buys on night vision. Not much. They're down to a third of the inventory they had. And I'm talking about selection. I've noticed this with all the companies. There's been a big run on armor. I was looking for body armor today. I'm going to be making some recommendations in a minute on that. But right now, Konuspy, Konuspy, 11, 7932, magnification 3 to 6 power, objective lens diameter 32, and this is basically a rectangular mono screen, kind of giving you a little more. It's not quite going to be 3D in that respect. Don't expect 3D, come on. But the one good thing is that it does offer a wider perspective with regard to image. These are all camera systems, guys. And every time they've built a whole wave of cameras and a technology, they've bought slaves to do it. Indonesia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, China, India, Vietnam, Cambodia. Hell, they're even using Thai people right now for slaves for electronics. And they make a ton of this stuff where they have it's boxed, and there'll be like 24 of the modules that make up, say, the collection unit, and there'll be so many 24 to a case of the projector units, like those little camera lenses you had that used to be like in the VHS cameras or beta cameras or 8mm cameras. All of those those things are phenomenal pieces of equipment. Realize what that cost, little or nothing by comparison slave-wise, but they're built. And so that's what most of this digital technology is. It's not something brand new. It's old inventory being repurposed in a very intelligent way, in a very useful way, because the older pieces of equipment will last longer because most of them are not made in China. They were actually made in company with countries and companies that were at their zenith in manufacturing of electronics, not on the punkadunk China, merry-go-round bandwagon of 80% works, 10% so-so, and 10% you're screwed. So again, are these really robust pieces of equipment? No, they were never meant to be. Are they serviceable enough for what they are? Well, look at the price, okay? $279.89. You can actually afford it. It'll do the job. Most of your operators can handle it very, very quickly. It is user-friendly, which is the most important thing. The big thing is look to see if there are any weaknesses. Switches are the first thing that we are obviously going to be concerned with. Now, somebody's asking, well, they do offer a lot of other night vision stuff at Optics Plenty. Yes, they do, but not as much as they used to. Like I said, I'll repeat again, they're about 1/3 of the inventory they had before. Very serviceable. Whatever you're going to do with night vision, do it. I'm not going to argue with anybody who goes, mine's better, yours not. Yours is better, I'm not. Piss on that. Does everybody show up with some? Get a piece of night vision, everyone. If you're listening right now and you're coming late to the table, whatever you can afford is acceptable. First generation, digital. Second, if you got money for third generation, you don't need to hear me. You're going to figure out what you want to buy, and you're going to spend $3,000-$4,000 on it. Congratulations. You're doing a great job. But if you don't have the kind of money to whale that around, we'd rather have 10 people or 5 people with some form of night vision than one person with night vision that's really, really cool and everybody else sucking vapors and flashing around the dark. Or for that matter, not able to evaluate their area of control when it comes time for a nightly event. Everything helps. We take a lot of the digital and hand it to our medical people. I've mentioned this on the air. I've gotten 3 pieces of digital night vision for free in the last, year? A year and a half. I've got 2 Generation 1 night vision devices for free. It is amazing. Like I said, some of these areas we're in, more money than brains. But on the other hand, I'm not going to complain. Why should I? Guys, they play with it. They give it to the kids piddle with it. The kids put it out in the yard sale for $1 or $2, and nobody cares. So why should I? It's like, congratulations, we got that. A $300 to $500 piece of equipment for $5 or free, or like in the, I don't not play with it anymore. It's out on the street. I just picked up some stuff last night that way. It's put on free on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist free list, where you go and look, see what people are getting rid of. There's tons of stuff like that out there, okay? But if it's not the top of the line, you don't get rid of it. We got too many people that don't have equipment. So no matter who you are, if you're listening, these digital units are good enough for most of what you're doing because it confirms or denies enemy threat. Your location is probably already known. In the situations for most of what we're dealing with, etc., they've already got a pretty good idea where it is they're going and who they're zipping in on, who they're targeting, be it the knuckle-dragging Baboonus Maximus or the government uniform Baboonus Maximus. Whichever of the 2 sides working against the American people, that means the government ring knocker, lodge buddy, synagogue types, or the organic sandbag, lodge buddy, synagogue / useful idiot types. They're both the same team, both run by the same tentacle up the same arse. Okay, well, different arses, but go back to the same base point where the tentacles come from. So understand that. Again, Kona Spy 11. The one thing I like about it, as somebody showed me one, is the panoramic aspect because, we close one eye, close the other, try to work, make that work. This is one focal screen. It is going to give you kind of the illusion also that you have a wider peripheral vision option. To be quite honest, what we've done with one of these, you've seen those 6-eyed night and 4-eyed night vision devices they came up with. We took 3 of these and made basically a really cool vehicle scope that goes in the driver's station. Why? Look at the width. Okay, when you go look at this piece of equipment, consider this. I can leave the equipment so cheap, I can put it right into the driver's station on an add-on hatch. It goes right on the hatch station with another piece of armor. We box it up otherwise. But you've got three angles of approach where you have full vision, no obstruction, no variance. In fact, you can bond these things a little closer together. It's almost like you got like a little, bridge bar, like you're looking through the periscopes on the regular fixture. Difference, hell of a lot less. I can buy all three for the price of what I'd have to buy one vehicle fixture for my armored vehicles that are out there. So this idea has already been tested and works. It's something else where we've already expanded and gone beyond. We've already been buying another model. Not this particular one. The Conus is basically the same thing. The base equipment that they make this stuff out of all comes from the same components, same industry component inventory. It's like Don would tell you, all the first-generation tubes, and even if it's second or third, it has first-generation tubes in it, all come from the same places, guys. There's only so much there's so much inventory they can pull from. And any optics like this, optics are specialized. You will not appreciate them until a lot of the stuff is gone. Now, I want to address something else, talking about observing like that, those light splashes or anything else that we were discussing. Binoculars. Any binoculars you see at a yard sale, grab. Everybody should have a pair of binoculars. Everybody. The kids, the women, the wives, cats, dogs, I don't care what it is. Strap one to the dog to have a spare pair coming along for the ride. Get one of those little backpack systems for the dog. Stuff a pair of smaller binoculars in there. There's all kinds of different sizes. I grab all the kitty binoculars. I am dead cold serious about this. Any optics help. Any improvement, any ability to magnify helps. Binoculars, telescopes, anything you can grab like that. If it's cheap or free, grab it. It's that simple. But everybody should have a pair of binoculars. There are a number of solutions. Optics Planet is one company. Everybody has optics like this. A monocular is fine. Somebody said, well, what about a monocular, Mark? Yeah, I have 4 binoculars that I have. 2 of them are in my kit. I carry one all the time. I carry one of those small compression binoculars. It's in my regular flight jacket that I wear and carry wherever I go. It is a piece of equipment that is a fixture in my standard pick. When I have to wash that jacket, all this junk's got to come out of the pockets and out of the popcorn pockets and the little zip points. And then when I'm done, it all gets loaded right back up in. Optics and knives. Optics and knives. And we're going to talk about that too in a minute. With regard to binoculars, hey, whatever floats your boat, it's like knives. Guys, you can enjoy yourself. Have fun doing this. Experiment, and then if you don't like the first one, go buy another one. There are no cheap binoculars coming in through any of the wholesalers. I was buying hundreds of binoculars for a bit, as one of the militia units here knows. I had a wholesale source, same one I've been getting, for instance, tactical vest body armor that was coming in from one of the import companies. I bought out every last pair of binoculars they had. They have never been able to re-inventory for anywhere near the prices, so they did not go back into the inventory. They didn't go back in because the Chinese and the Malaysians, when they went back to dip from the well, everybody doubled and tripled their price. And so that's one of the reasons that, again, when we're looking at the situation like this, if you find it and it's cheap, grab it. I can't find anything that's really, really, really cheap anymore. Of course, now, some of these were not really super great. They were plastic lenses, I'll tell you that. But for the price, everybody could afford to have a pair of binoculars that work. Okay, now if I see glass or optics, and by the way, here's a little cheater trick. How many of you got an old 35mm camera you don't have a whole lot of love for because you figure you don't want to use 35mm film? Or you got something, maybe you're going to inherit some stuff. If your grandpa or your uncle or your dad or whoever passes away and you have a 35mm camera and it's got a bunch of these stupid telephoto lenses, do you realize what you've got? Do you realize with those telephoto lenses what kind of optics you have available? You don't need to use it as a camera. There's no rule that says that. You realize what kind of ground glass German and high-tech Japanese is in those telephoto lenses. You do understand it's got a 1/4-20 bolt on the bottom, and you can lock that right into a tripod, and you have yourself one hell of an observation spotter scope, people. Yeah, depending on the camera and how it's set up, you see whatever it is that spotting system sees, remember? You slide the little thing back and, oh, yeah, that's right. Now, it depends on the camera. Some have a fixed targeting system above. Well, no, you're not going to see through the optics that way. But you probably have a Pentax. You're going to end up with any number of different model of cameras that are very high-tech, very valuable, and in fact have phenomenal optics, all in a bag where they've already palletized it for you. That is an optics bag for you to have a spotter scope where you can count the pimples on some Chinese soldier at 500 yards out, and then zero your shooter in on the target. You can watch most of those pimples get popped when that 270 hits the guy right in the nose and turns his head into a canoe and a big pink watermelon-y mist. And it didn't cost you anything. I got a digital camera that's got about I haven't looked at the lens. Nancy just was handling it the other day. I got it for free. Got a pile of them for free. And every one of them came with a telephoto. Every camera that I just picked up about 3 weeks ago maybe. It's ones that I saw that they were chucking them, so I grabbed them all. Every one of them had a telephoto lens. Every last one of them. You can't, and not only that, the one we're talking about is an electronic digital with camera base. That basically it's the same camera face system that I was just telling you about that they're using in the night vision devices with digital. So I can literally zoom in and look at a digital image that I can step back and be observing, and I can keep it fixed, say, down the road on that intersection where I want to put some mortar rounds or an artillery, or I got a Barrett 50 next to me, and I can say, Bob, the guy on the right, can you see him? Well, which one on the right? Hold on a second. See the one with the X on his field gear, that one that's kind of lightly colored? Yeah, I can see it, but you can see better than I can with that thing. Yeah, I know. Okay, well, see that one? Take his shoulder out. No, wait a minute. Drop a little lower. Take his crotch out. Will do, boss. Boom! There we go. See how that works? Guys, you're going to war. You use everything you can get your hands on, but a lot of people are waiting for some kind of official technology here, and most of it is improvise, adapt, and overcome because it's already paid for, and you got, if you were to go out and try and buy a spotting scope with some of the telephoto lenses that are out there, you're talking $5, $6, $7, $8, $1,000 to $3,000. You've got Zeiss, Icon, you've got Durst, you've got any number of other companies that made optics that just don't make them anymore. You can't afford to buy them. You can't afford to buy them, okay? So just a little heads up there. Now, again, one more time, that is opticsplanet.com, 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 opticsplanet.com. They're not a sponsor. It'd be nice if they were. By the way, if you make multiple purchases, they give you a better price, but you have to call them and ask about that, and you should. If you think you want more than one of something you see there and your panties are all, in a bind about getting it, call them. Don't just buy 3 automatically. Say, hey, what do I get if I buy 3 or 4 or 5 of these things? Oh, well, you want 3 or 4 or 5 of those? Oh, hold on a second. Then you're going to get a different quote. Then you're going to see where you basically save enough you almost get one for free. Maybe you get one for free. Maybe you get 2 or 3 for free. That would be kind of nice. So again, just a heads up, something to think about. And there's a bunch of night sites. There's a bunch of everything and anything is at Optics Planet. Beware, some of it's pricey. You do need to compare notes. Don't just go out and buy from the place because Mark pointed you there. I pointed towards certain items, if you'll notice, for a reason, because of the price. Sportsman's Guide has a bunch of other cool stuff there, but I'm going to switch to Sportsman's Guide for another reason right now. It is Communications Tuesday, but my operator needs to survive in order for everybody to continue to, stay in the fight. We got to keep you alive, guys. Body armor, body armor, body armor, body armor, and then how about some more body armor? Well, most of the cheap stuff you guys hopefully grabbed because it was reasonably priced and you got it. And I hope you did listen to what I was saying, or somebody went through the archives or whatever, and that would make me feel good that people are actually listening, okay? Here's what we need to clean off the shelf next. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, how many of you have seen any... Well, let me back up and do this. How many of you have seen the riots in Minneapolis and or in, for instance, well, you're not seeing anything come out of Atlanta. They've blanked out Atlanta. What few pieces of imagery you see are very short and repeated 100 times to everybody because otherwise you can't see them. They're just not going to let you find out what's going on. But there are, hold on a second here. I hate these things. Anyway, you will notice that there are a bunch of other videos, if you pay attention, where some of the knuckle-dragging idios baboonus, white, black, pink, purple, I don't care, they're all idios baboonus, are coming out, and of course they're lamenting about things. Now, one of them I like a lot. It's an image. And it's a still image of some female, and her sorry art got peppered with rubber bullets. She didn't get hit once. She got hit like somebody was rounding up with a chain gun on her, okay? So I don't know if she was stupid, up front and just in the right place, or if it was like a firing squad, and everybody said, well, if Dimplehead's going to keep charging, how about we just shoot that sorry arse? Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, if you find the video or the image, and there's different ones, I want you to count how many times Twit got hit. Let me point something out about where Twit got hit. She got hit in the rumpus. Imagine that as a couple of 223 rounds going through that butt cheek, especially with her arse. A couple of, I'd say 6 leg hits, mixed types, front, back. Also a couple of side hits in the torso, a couple of more back hits around the spine. Oh, and a couple of shoulder hits. Oh, and a couple of neck hits. Oh, and a couple of tags in the head. Well, hell, she got shot all over. Yeah, she actually did. My point is this, and I've tried to explain this before. I know how everybody loves this plate carrier stuff, and that's good. And you know I've repeated this many times in the past here. Guys, there's a whole lot of other parts of your body that can get shot. As you know, everything's up for grabs. And unfortunately, although everybody likes to aim center of mass, even when you try, people have a tendency to just not get their act together, okay? And they just squeeze, jerk the trigger, really embarrassing. You get, a boo-boo to the neck, or a boo-boo to the hand, or you get shot in any number of different places. Well, kind of like that female that I was just talking about. So, now, the armies already know this. Governments already know this. There is nobody that's being shocked and amazed in the military by what I'm saying. But let me point out that more armor over your hind end of any kind is going to keep fewer boo-boos from appearing like you see on Boo Boo Butt when she's standing there in her panties naked, showing you all of her bullet bruises, okay? And they are good, solid tag bullet bruises. Now, just think if any one or two of those had been pistol ammo, light rifle, maybe shotgun. Now, with most of what I just described, any of the standard military vests would have stopped. Not light rifle necessarily, but most everything else, including another thing that we are not seeing yet on the game board the way we will. And if everybody starts, upping the ante as we expect, if they do that, then you're going to start to see fragmentation casualties. Now, I don't want to hear anybody bewitch me later and tell me, oh my God, we didn't know. It's kind of like watching the idiot sticks that are all of these rioters and protesters, and none of them, only 1 out of 20 have a helmet on. Talk about stupid. Most of them don't have the brains to wear some kind of, if you even wore just like the tactical, they make them, actually. There's a bunch of Dutch ones available for $12. If you were to just wear a tactical life vest, it's like body armor, okay? The high impact foam guys, think about that. Most of what they're getting tagged with wouldn't even come through. Football armor, it wouldn't come through. Okay, so I'm not saying I hope they improve their tactics. Piss on them. I hope they all die. Okay, but for all of you out there, we can do better. Okay. So I'm going to point out any kind of helmet in a storm. I don't care what you do. I don't care what it is, as long as you get one. Okay, just get one. Otherwise, one of the other things you need is armor. Now, I'm going to point something out that, interestingly enough, I just did a search again because I've been trying to find out where to go. Why is it I can't find this? Amazingly enough, they still have them. You're going to understand what I'm going to talk about here in a minute. And that's, additional armor for places that go boo-boo real fast and really hurt. There's all kinds of plate carriers, and the plate carrier is something you should still have. But soft armor should be underneath it, and because it will spread over a wider area, and in fact, if the plate system fails, and a lot of you are wearing small plate carriers, I don't have a problem with that, then the other armor is going to deal with the spalled off the bullet and whatever energy is left, and or fragmentation and or other stuff coming at you. Okay? Now, the nice thing about stab armor, or the lighter, fragmentation armor, because everybody would say, well, it's not that heavy and it's not enough. Oh, it's more than enough for what we're talking about doing. And because it's not as heavy, for a couple of pounds, 3 or 4, you can afford to wear it. You can afford to carry it all the time when the plate armor is going to get too heavy. Now, there's better armor that costs, in progressive it'll cost more. That is soft armor that does all kinds of wunderbar things. I will bring up one odd piece here in a minute once I talk about the others. Here's my recommendation right now, the situation the way it is. And you know that I don't do this all the time. So if I'm bringing up what I'm bringing up, it is because it is obvious that we need to upgrade or get to a better point on the playing field with regard to what we see here, okay? And what I mean by that is, congratulations, here it is. We're at war. We're going to be in the middle of a dogfight. Get over it, get on with it, and get on to other things as far as preparation go. Okay, now, first of all, my favorite of subjects, which is most important for everybody to understand, is overall armor coverage. So here's one that I thought they sold out of, and I think they did, because unfortunately, it's not $22 anymore. Originally, when I told you to buy these, they were below $20, then they went to like $22. I think they went all the way up to $28. Then they came back down and they sold everything out. British military surplus blast shorts with Kevlar. For those of you who'd like to keep your bunghole covered, along with most of those private plumbing parts you probably think dearly of, $40.49 for a brand new or like new piece of armor is not a bad deal. Again, British military surplus blast shorts with Kevlar, like new, $40.49. Now, this includes a full wraparound diaper for your hind end. Doesn't cover your butt cheeks completely. Oh, well, some parts are still going to be hanging out in the breeze, unless you do a few other things. But in this case, this is a single purchase item it's in multicam, if you really love multicam. Well, my groin and my body parts will thank you for multicam. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, $40.49 is what it costs for this armor. They have it in, I guess one size fits most. In fact, well, however it is, whatever you got, this is going to have to fit it. But it really is designed for truly covering the groin area and then up around to the rear where the butt cheeks are. And then some. Okay, so you've got basically the lower spine given a little more protection too, which is a good thing. Now, this is designed, this particular device is also designed to be set up to hang off of web gear or, tactical vests, or preferably other body armor, and is probably, in this case, I would guarantee part of the Osprey body armor system, if not the generation before. And still, because of the way they integrate systems, it probably integrates and locks up to an Osprey if you've got Osprey body armor. However, it works by itself. In this case, you can still hang it off of the other types of armored components that are out there. You figure it out. But I mentioned that one first because this is very unique, and you will not see much of any of this around anywhere. if you have drivers or armored personnel, I recommend they get this. We've already bought, like I said, we bought most of what we saw out there before. We have not seen it again. I did a search for it, and guess what? It didn't even show up in Sportsman's Guide. But right now it is there. British military surplus blast shorts with Kevlar, brand or like new or new, $40.49. Okay? Now the other two items that would be first on my list after that, because again you can afford them. Number one, Croatian military surplus stab-resistant vest, used, $80.99, $81. Would I have recommended something else? Yeah, but they're all sold out. And if they aren't, I can't find them. I mean, can't find them in the listing for Sportsman's Guide with their goofy-ass system the way it is. I'm going to tell you that right now. So if you do find something else, hey, make a note. I'd love to buy more of the British black utility cop stab vests. Why? Because they're mixed in pattern and not easily identifiable. So you put them under a jacket, or you put them underneath a windbreaker of some kind, lightweight, nobody's going to know the difference, and when they try to stab you in the back or try to beat you with something, you got some protection there before you turn and take the ice pick and stick it right up under their chin into their brain about 6 or 7 times. Stab, 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 stab. There we go. That one's dead. Anyway, Croatian military surplus stab-resistant vest, used, $81. I recommend it. It's woodland camo. It is another piece of body armor. Do you have any armor? No. Go. If you don't have any armor, your ass is hanging in the breeze. It's $80 and, well, $81. Now, I'm going to tell you, similar vests that were made by Poland, which were top end, were available, you might recall, a few months ago. I told everybody to buy them. A lot of people apparently did, because we did buy them out eventually. But if you're listening and you hesitated, you could have had a vest that was 10 times the value of this for half the price. If you hesitated, that was a mistake. If you hesitated, that was really a mistake. And I did emphasize and recommend those things, but if you hesitated, it was a mistake. And there's no more out there. And the people who bought them, a lot of them were speculators. Go look at the prices they're asking right now. The next one is a U.S. military product. The first one is Croatian. Let me do this again. Croatian military surplus stab-resistant vest, used. Yes, I know what it is. So if when the idiot stick who's opening his face and is stupid sitting next to you, well, that's just blah, 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 shut him up by hitting him for me. Go slap him with a board. He's sitting next to you right now, he's opening his face, hit the bastard. I'm tired of those fools. Do you have any body armor? No. Will this help you with a lot of the situations you're going to get into? Yes. Is it affordable? Well, you can afford, and by the way, you still get the plate armor. It's going to cost you only $140, $150 for that, but that doesn't cover what this covers. So you put this on first, put the plate armor over top of it. Now you're a little tank. Okay? Now, number two, and some of you will have used these. I have. U.S. military surplus paratrooper frag vest, brand new, unissued. They are $117 a piece. These are all at Sportsman's Guide. Somebody just put a flag up there. All of this is at Sportsman's Guide. British military surplus blast shorts with Kevlar, like new, $41. Croatian military surplus stab-resistant vest, used, $81. U.S. military surplus paratrooper frag vest, brand new, unissued, $117. That used to be a $75 item. I used to buy them for $50 a piece. But that's used to. Now, if you find something laying around at a yard sale or somebody's got it up in Facebook Marketplace and they jack it for like $45 or $40, I grab it right now at a policy. You want to know why? Here's what's cool about all of these items that I'm mentioning as far as the vests go. It's a great way to armor up your truck seat. Have you got single bucket truck seats? You take these Kevlar vests, you slide it over the seat, you Velcro it in place, you've just armored up your truck a hell of a lot better than it was before while it was nothing but plastic and sheet tin a moment ago. However, they're really nice to have on people because I value my human beings, the personnel, my fellow soldiers, my militiamen, more than I do anything else pretty much laying around. My enemy can go to hell. We'll strip him bare-ass naked, all the good gear he has. Then you can upgrade after that. How do you like that one? But anyway, U.S. military surplus paratrooper frag vest, brand new, unissued. Item number WX2-715537. This is in woodland camouflage pattern. and it is ready to roll. So you figure it out. Now, remember, there's only certain sizes available. And in some of these cases, you're only going to have medium. In others, you do have up to large, or one size fits most. That's with the Croatian. Now, the last one is going into another price range. You're past that $100 mark with that second vest. Italian military surplus tactical carrier vest with ceramic plates. There you go. If y'all are looking for a way to, throw some rifle armor up, $225. Do I recommend it? Sure. Will the average person be able to afford it? Some will, a lot won't. But if you can afford it, yeah, I'd recommend that. You want to know why? It's got a full groin flap. Remember that groin armor I mentioned first? There's a whole front crotch flap on this thing. Plus, this has the gorget and the throat protection in the center front from that bullet splash off of your rifle armor. That's kind of handy. Plus, it has a full neck wraparound. Plus, it has side panel armor. It is $225. I recommend these, but in pecking order, I pointed out price. Now, all these are woodland camo, so if you're a woodland unit and you're trying to match everything up, look at that. Of course, it's also because that's pretty much all that's left. In surplus, the other stuff out there is going to be privately sold, and it's going to be jacked price-wise. I've been looking, it's like on eBay, for instance, dudes, they are they're just, where some of the stuff went from Sportsman's Guide is over there purely to try and tag your hind end for twice the money. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, we understand that. And you know what? If all this is gone, that's where you're going to turn to. But anyway, Croatian military surplus stab resistant vest used, $81. U.S. military surplus paratrooper frag vest new, $117. Italian military surplus tactical carrier vest with ceramic plates used, but these are in excellent condition. We've already had some people buy them. They're in excellent condition, pretty much all of them. $225 a piece, and all three of those are in woodland camo pattern. The British military surplus blast shorts with Kevlar are in multicam, so if you're a multicam kind of person, you'll love that. But you know what? You can throw that multicam right there with that woodland. I don't think I'll mark you down for it. Know what I mean? Oh, we're going to gig him because his camo chic doesn't match. Oh, it's so chic to have matching camo, and I have to shame myself because I didn't buy all the same color. Oh, it's like going to a Paris fashion show or one with New York with all the faggoty boys. I don't care. See how that works? I really don't care. But some units, again, if you're a woodland unit, you're all squared away. Now, otherwise, as far as armor and technology goes, Best Buy you can find, they do still have, okay, yes, I'm going to mention one other thing that is a lot pricier, but this is the next step up, and go try to price something and see if you can find this for what price anywhere now, like about $1,000. Hungarian military surplus ballistic vest with ceramic plates, like new. These are new. They are old inventory new. Most everybody that bought these, we bought out the woodland ones. We bought out the desert pattern. The ones that left are OD green, which works fine with everybody. The color will work. You're talking $360 a system, and this includes side armor, front armor, gorget, throat armor around the side and to the, an overslit type. It's more of the double slit throat protectors, left, right, and slit to the tail, and shoulder armor, plus the ceramic plate carrier. It is in small and medium. They are $360 a system. There are other plates available, and that is yet another option. And I do recommend, again, it's a good system. It's a lot more money. And no, you can't get the other colors. The woodland's gone, and in fact, I'm going to confirm that. Oh, wait a minute. In the medium, they only have the desert. Sorry about that. Hold on here. Let me check something. Oh, you're in luck. Okay, I'll take it back. What they restocked or have left right now in the small, they have the Hungarian woodland. Now these are brand new for all practical purposes. They're saying like new because these have been stored, but these are an old new inventory item. In small, they have the woodland camo. Forgive me, and in the medium, they have the desert. They must have sold out of all the woodland because all they're offering is the desert in the medium, which is the 3-color U.S. pattern type desert. It'll go right along with all your DCU gear. All of them, what's left here in the smalls or mediums, again, has the full ceramic plate, front rear rifle plate, has full wraparound Kevlar, has the gorget in the front, the full throat coverage, and the extended shoulders, but not the shoulders that droop down like you see on the Osprey gear. That would be nice, but that's not there. And these are $360 a piece. So we've come up with solutions, not just complaining about the problems. Why? Your butt hanging in the wind isn't going to work. You need armor. When they go to, and here's 2 things we're all watching for before we get to the top. Don't write up the music quite yet. Just give me a moment. 2 things. Someone's going to do a small arms exchange that's real. When that happens, you're going to know it. Okay? The other one is someone's going to set off a improvised munition, but it's actually going to be in the classic 60s and 70s sense. That's coming. It's not maybe or sort of. It's to up the ante if people don't maintain. If the commies don't maintain the initiative, then the core Mossad personnel, Israeli murderers, Israeli assassins, will be out there planting bombs and evidence, and we'll be trying to blame somebody else. That's coming. That's not maybe. That's not kind of. That's not sort of. There were hundreds of bombings a year with the communists in the late 60s and 70s inside the United States each week. Hundreds. Hundreds. Does everybody understand that? Are you prepared? What do you need fragmentation for? You need plates. Yeah, to cover just one small-ass area, front and rear, and all the rest of your body's hanging out. Fragmentation is a reality and is going to be on the battlefield here, just like gas already is. Have you seen all the gas videos from Washington? How many times I tell you, get a gas mask. Look at all the ass hats. Look at all the idiots. Look at all the stupid people, ill-prepared. No helmets, no body armor of any kind. Very few, if any. No gas masks. All of them puking their guts out or running away from the front line. That's good because they're my enemy and I don't care. But I am using it as an example of why you need the technology. We're going to go to break. We are at the top. And for everybody out there, guys, pay attention. Organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. Establish a 510 program in your area of operation. Ensure that you know who your friends are, and most importantly, all of your friends and you need to know exactly who all the enemies are in your community, so when the time comes, we clean this problem out. And we are at the top. Should be hearing the music. Why would I think that? There we go. God bless our republic. Death for the New World Order. We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The Empire's on the run. We're in the march. We'll be back right here. Second hour of the Intel Report coming up. It is Tuesday. Oh, God. It always feels like it's Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be back.
It's a tall oak tree and the strong
everything from bare hands to your average AR-15.
A 4th-gauge autoloader,
Sure.
a 45 long slide,
Yep.
laser sighting,
You betcha.
Uzi 9mm,
Yes, sir.
phased plasma rifle, 41 range.
What are you, crazy?
Wrong.
Okay, we'll talk about that too. So whatever question you have about whatever weapon, call Mark and Don on Weapons Wednesday. And remember, your mind is your first best weapon.
Now you can feel that squeaky clean sensation like none other with Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash. Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash is a unique natural formula not found in any other oral care products. With a gentle combination of zinc, folic acid, myrrh, and clove oil, Vitamer effectively whitens teeth, removes plaque, and freshens breath, and it does it naturally without any harmful chemicals. Visit us online at Vitamer.com. That's VITAMYR.com. Or call us today to place your order at 1-888-558-8482. That's 1-888-558-8482. Keep your teeth and gums healthy with Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash. Vitamer, nature's answer to healthy teeth and gums. And remember, it's all completely natural. Available at participating health food stores nationwide.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's Huntington. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
I had a dream the other night. I didn't understand. A figure walking through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said,
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second hour of the Intelligence Report. I'm Mark Corky. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, west, southeast, north, and northwest. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com. We're also on AM and FM micro stations, AM and FM conventional stations, and CB base stations, along with Ultra Net, Hallmark, and Golden Spike technologies east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in the lower 49, which includes the great state of Jefferson, along with the outlying two states, the territories, CONUS, and, of course, the clock, 6:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it is Communications Tuesday. It is the 23rd of June. It is the 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K, 2020 Old Earth calendar. 2020 year of conflict, year of betrayal. Really, it's nothing that we aren't surprised by. And the dance of swords for everybody. I'm going to point out, if the restaurants were open and you saw the gangs like you see out there on the streets behind the counter working, would you buy anything from a place like that right now or ever in the future now? You do realize that from this point forward, unless you know the people in the restaurant, in the community that you're in, you can't trust them to make your food for you. You're going to be either, your food's going to get spit on, they're going to do something horrible to it, they're going to laugh about it. Pay attention when little clicks. They always have a tendency to do this. The pea brains have a tendency still when they're doctoring or messing with food. The little monkeys will all be over, the little rats, the little insurgents will all be over there in a little click, and they'll be doing something, and the one looks down, you can see, pay attention to body language and activity. And then they quick glance over at you, and they're like, oh, he's looking right at me, and then they look back, because they're doing something, okay? Not a surprise. We expect this. They be doing something, okay? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to address something here in a minute. Anyway, and anyway, pay attention to your food servers. In fact, they shouldn't be your food servers in most places nowadays, because if you don't recognize that person, if you don't know them personally, chances are they'll try to poison you or they're going to try to get you hurt. And on top of that, if you decide to walk away, they'll go ape crazy, come up behind you, beat on you, whatever you can imagine. After all, there's knives and things back there. So you better be ready to shoot someone. If you start to walk away, be ready to defend yourself. It's that simple. Be ready to shoot someone. Anyway, okay, go ahead, call. Who do we have, caller?
Yes, Mark, I got a question I want to ask you. I was in a gun shop today, and one of the distributors was in there, and another man come in, wanted 9mm, and they were completely out. The distributor said that the UN got involved with this George that was killed by the cops or anything like that. The UN got involved, and they shut down production of 9mm ammunition except for law enforcement or government. Did you hear anything about that, or is that a bunch of malarkey?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's wrong. Number one, consider this. You've got the UN Arms Agreement treaty, which everybody goes, well, we didn't, we supposedly backed out of it or whatever, which is a lie. We're still stuck with it. Okay, once the commies signed it, the communists will never let you go that you signed it with, number one. Okay, number two, even if it doesn't affect us here in the United States, understand every other element out there, they can retard motion or even block sales without any problem. So, for instance, everybody loves the cheap Tula ammo. Well, I hope you aren't out there blazing with it like I see in all these idiot videos. Everybody listening, I told you this a million times. If you're going to pull the trigger, it better be to hit something. And if you shoot, what's the other thing Uncle Mark has said forever? Police your brass. In fact, any brass anybody's stupid enough to leave behind, grab it. Why? Well, we've seen 4 of these, caller, 4 times now where we've lost every stinking round on the shelf. I mean, everything's sold out, right? So, guys,
Right.
what does that mean? That means that all of you should be as religious as I am. I'll be down to pick up somebody else's 50 rounds of Boxer Prime non-corrosive Remington brass because they feel they're going to show that they're rich. I hope they keep showing that they're rich. They won't be rich for long. Okay? And what happens when, of course, each time you do that, the ammo, the brass hits the ground and the price to replace it's twice as much. Now, here's the next part where it goes into what we call unobtainium level. That's where we are going right now. So the reality is that, yeah, they're blocking in different ways. I don't doubt that. I would also point out, don't you think that government right now is doing special purchases to stock up and advance their inventory? Don't you think these cop shops went out and bought up a bunch of stuff? I mean, they would anyway. Nobody go, oh, that's really crazy. Well, that's not crazy at all. Look at what's happening on the streets. And like everything else, it is a finite product, just like toilet paper. I think the toilet paper thing demonstrated over and over again what I've said for 30 years on the air about this. Except it didn't need to be toilet paper, it was ammunition. Now, as far as the 9mm goes, I would remind everybody, again, caller, here's what you need to do. Go buy a 9mm round nose, ball round type pattern bullet mold in lead right now. Be ahead of the curve on this one. Go buy, all of you listening. In fact, you know what? I was going to do something else, but I'm going to tie up over here for a second. I haven't mentioned, because they're doing business all on their own. www.Palmetto State Armory. Again, they don't sponsor us, but PalmettoStateArmory.com. Okay, let's go over to PalmettoStateArmory.com. And I'm going to see if they have... Oh, you got to be kidding me. I hate these pieces. Well, it's intentional. God, all this crap that's happening now is not accidental. It's the worthless 21st century. Anyway, the worthless 21st century where none of the crap works right, and it was never. It's not intended to. Half the time, the BSers are going to Palmetto State Armory. I'm getting it right here. Hold on a second. We'll be over at PalmettoStateArmory.com. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. PalmettoStateArmory.com. All right, I'm over at Palmetto, and I'm going to punch in bullet molds. Well, you know what? And then, of course, all these damn pop-ups show up. Bullet molds. You know how it is. Molds. Not moldy, molds. Okay, there we go. Now, when we get over to bullet molds, I'm going to look for it'll probably be a 357, 358 diameter I can get away with, but 357 would be best. Bullet mold 9mm. Here we go. No, it's probably not going to be what I want, but we'll see. Come on, you got to give me a break. Anyway, optics, ammo, gun parts, that's not. Search for bullet molds. Okay, we do have at least some bullet molds left, but I'm not seeing as much as we used to have. Buckshot molds, which I highly recommend also. And they do have Lee single cavity slug molds. Well, that's not exactly what I was looking for. There's 358 double cavity rifle bullet. No, I don't want that. Looking while I'm talking while I'm moving, and moving as we go. And then I get pistols. I did not look for pistols, but what I do see is that they seem to be kind of down on their bullet molds. What a surprise. I would never have expected that. Yeah, I would. 520 diameter adjustable grain. Oh, well, now that's a good choice. Good point on that. They have a deep cavity 520 Hodgdon north-south skirmish mold. And the neat thing about this is, if you pay attention, it's a adjustable grain. What does that mean? The mold actually has a spacer, and you can make the bullet as long as you want. If you want to go with a heavier bullet, it's going to be a little slower, but you're going to have more freight train going down range. So just something to think about there. That's not a bad idea. So if you see any of these adjustable grain bullet molds for pistol or for rifle, I do recommend those. I'm not going to see that many. It looks like right now they're down on a lot of their bullet molds in general. So I'd have to do a search in other locations and see what we dig up. But what I would do is get one of the ball round simulated / round nose standard 119, 125, whatever it is, whatever floats your boat on the weight, on the average weight of the material with the material you can use, and start cranking the snot out of them that way, because that's where you're going to have to go. Now, here's the next thing you need to learn to do: either find a plater in the area, or go to YouTube and take a look at the copper plating tricks that people have come up with, to creating their own plating machines. They are so stupid, simple, it's ridiculous. They're great. I recommend that you learn, because that's another little micro manufacturing operation that you've established. Now, why do I want to copper wash lead bullets? It eliminates a lot of the leading problems that will develop. Well, we started copper washing lead. It was a real, at the end of the Vietnam War. Everybody started experimenting because there was lots of industrial capacity and people needed work. So when all of a sudden somebody was realizing ammunition was getting thin in the middle 70s, first obviously reloading became real popular to sell at the gun shops. But everybody started, bewitching about what? Oh, leading in the barrel. So what did they do? Well, some bright guy said, why don't we just copper wash the lead? And they're, well, can you do that? Well, hell yeah, it's no problem. And the swaging, when you copper wash the bullets, when you swage them, it's gonna conform to dimension. And congratulations, you got a standard, light jacketed round. Now, in reality, that's very economical, because you do have a fairly heavy jacket on most ball rounds. But if you copper wash, you have a very thin, light jacket on the bullet. No matter what projectile it is, they start doing even cast lead 30 caliber bullets. And so you saw a lot of guys doing 30-06 copper wash, 160 grain, 170 grain lead. Now, they didn't push it real super hypersonic, though you can get better velocities this way. The big thing is that it made for a more uniform cut when it knocked into the lands and grooves. We saw a little tightening in performance, and when it got to the other end, it actually created some frangibility. It's kind of interesting how the copper reacted with the lead. And so you got a little ouch when you got to the other end and hit what you were shooting at. A little more ouch, I should say. So that would be another thing I'd be doing. Right. Well, first of all, lead mold, standard 9mm thread. And by the way, the mold that's used for your 9mm can be used in your 38 and 357 all day. I used to load up to 125 grain 9mm cast lead and use it for a 357 zip gun. You know what I mean? Because it's sailing when you're looking at that lighter bullet with a 357 load behind it with a Magnum primer. Oh yeah, I like that when it tumbles through a corpse. Go ahead, please.
No, we was all talking about why would the UN want to get interested in just one? I mean, the family. It's NATO.
It's NATO. Okay, here's why they can also do this. Okay, what is it? It's nowadays it has been 9mm parabellum, but it's NATO. And remember, the first mission is to restrict the calibers that the government plans on using on you. That's what the UN and UN is government. So 9mm NATO is, if they had their way, the first step in even banning everything. anything that is a standard military caliber would be illegal, kind of like what Italian gun manufacturers were stuck with for years. You could have a Beretta Model 92, but you couldn't have it in 9mm because Berettas were being carried by the Italian military. You could have a Beretta 92 in 30 caliber Luger, which is neck down 9mm, but you couldn't have it in 9mm. You could have a 5.56 gun, but not in 5.56. So you had to have it in something else. It had to be it had to be compatible, obviously, with the weapons system, but you had to buy it in some other caliber. You couldn't have it in the military caliber. That's step one. Step two is then you just start banning and restricting and have you bounce on one leg for a permit and license money and all that. And so they eventually drive everybody out of ownership except for the rich and the police. And the police then have no problem shooting you and executing in the street because there's nobody to challenge it. So that's basically where, that's where it's headed. There's not much 40 caliber. I mean, think about this. Do a survey of the world. There's not much 40 caliber outside the U.S. Do a survey of the world. While 45 is still in service, I'd say probably the number 2 cartridge, if we were looking at policing services, and even this, I think it's falling back. 38 Special would probably be the number 2 cartridge that they would restrict because they would feel that it would affect more. But in reality, it would either be 40 caliber pistol, police, 40 caliber Smith & Wesson, or it would be, maybe 380 auto, because there's a lot of 380 auto that overseas, but not here. It's like 32 ACP. Cops were using 32 ACP for the last 40 years as a police pistol in Europe. And that's why you're seeing all these surplus, what caliber? 32 ACP pistols pop up. So understand it's because of what they can restrict. It's not a matter of whether or not they want to do everything. What can they restrict based upon a treaty that the ring knockers put together so that they can hamper, production and hamper imports? It's probably not so much the production simply being gobbled up by everybody. But importation, yeah, they can have a big effect on that. So what happens is all of your baseline inexpensive 9mm and look at all the calibers that have been cheap from Tula or Wolf or go right down the shopping list. And then you got idiot stick Trump, who blocks all of the Russian ammo or the whatever, and has made that list shorter and shorter, just like they did the Russian weapons. And so that means that whole spectrum of affordable shooting is gone. So we're right back to what I said before, reload. You can reload for 1/3 the cost of buying a box of ammo off the shelf. Everybody got lazy again. I've repeated this a million times, and I'll say it again. People are lazy bastards. People are lazy. It's why we're letting them get away with so much in this country right now. People are lazy, or they're spineless curs. I think a lot are spineless curs. I think, on that note, I wanted to say this today. If you're looking at it, people go, why aren't people doing anything? Ask yourself how many people in your community are on Prozac. How many people in your community, including veterans, are on psychotropic dope pushed by the government, and people were stupid enough to take it? I want you all to think about that one. Because they had to get that government money, they got to take that government dope. So they were willing to blow their brains out for government money, is what it comes down to. Go ahead.
Well, this guy said that there was like a $40 billion round contract to the government. Social Security is giving 2 million rounds of 9mm. And that's why there's none on the shelves now. But he said that's not it. He said the presses have been shut down. Now, like I said, I don't know if he was lying or bullcrapping or whatever, but I thought I'd ask you about it. So,
well, I think I'm sorry. The way to go after this is go after Spear and see what they say, because the bullet manufacturers would be shut off too. But they won't be shut off so much as they're just, if they're doing anything, they're diverting it to their pockets. In other words, government is 9mm centric. It's not all they carry. But here's something that was just happening a bit ago. Remember Everybody had to have 40 caliber Smith & Wesson. Remember that? All the cop shops just absolutely had to have it. It was the solution. It was the next thing, the sliced white bread. Remember that? Everybody had to have 40. Yeah. Now, what did the FBI just come up with and pull out of their ass here the other day? And by the way, we have mentioned on the air, it's been a couple months now. Oh, 9mm is the way to go, guys. 9mm is the way to go, guys. 9mm is the way to go, guys. 9mm, 9mm. The FBI did that. Now, I want to think about that for a minute. That's way before all this garbage is happening. Now, why are they doing that other than just for the sake of creating confusion, et cetera, et cetera? 40 Smith & Wesson, I've shot all of these. 45, there's no... let me point something out. I don't care what weapon it is. I pick it up, I shoot it, I'm going to make it work. But as far as somebody going, wow, about 40 caliber, or, oh my God, about 40 caliber, it's so tough to shoot. Really? I fired up, I don't know how many rounds of 40 cal, way below what I fired at 9mm. I got so many 9mm pistols, I've lost track of most of them. I mean, they're not gone. It's just that I have so many. I was just thinking, how many Astra 600s do I have? I used to buy Astra 600 9mm pistols, 8-shot in line, get the mags for $2 a piece. Then they went to $6, and it still was a reasonable price because they're actually Astra manufactured mags. But I used to get those guns for $65, $55. Hell, one I got for $40. I got them stashed in groups, okay? I don't really know how many of those I have. When everybody else was squandering their money, I just kept snagging this stuff. Sometimes I even got some gifts where somebody said, Uncle Bob passed away or Fred passed away, and he said, these go to you. And I don't know how many 9mm pistols I have. And I have them stashed all over. I can walk anywhere around this country, walk off the road, go a certain distance. I know where I know where the caches are. I don't care if somebody else got them. See, their logic is if they kill me, that nobody's going to know where they are. Oh, asshole. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I got to watch my mouth. Oh, dickwits. I hate you so much on the other side. Listen to this. I have plenty of people that know where they are, but the people we have brains. The people on the other side are a bunch of dimwits. So personally, my attitude is this. When I've invested in all this, I've invested in this for the war we're going to wage now. But, for instance, somebody would say, well, what 9mm would you choose? Browning high power. If I were grabbing something real quick, Browning high power, Browning high power, Browning high power, Browning high power. Now, there's lots of other 9mm out there, but why would I say Browning high power? Because I've got hundreds of those. I got 5 stashed in one place, 5 stashed in another. And again, I used to have guys that were at the shows that were dealers. I told them, if you find any under $150 Browning high power, I don't care what model it is, I don't care what condition it is, you bring it and I will buy it. Period. Any model under $150. I bought every stinking one they brought. Then I said, I think I want a bunch of 45s, caller. You know what I did? Told the same guys, paid $65, $75. The most I paid be about, I give them a top end of $125, but it better be stinking nice. I have a whole bunch of hardballer long slide 45s that I got for $100 to $125. You know what I mean? It's just like the Terminator used, only with the laser sight, I love those guns. I really do. I love all guns. See, this is the problem. Somebody says, well, what would you want? I said, whatever I get my stinking hands on and get to first. If it's within 3 paces, it's the first thing I'm going to shoot you with. And if it's 3 paces away, I'm in trouble because why didn't I have one on my person, right? You know what I mean? In other words, it should be boom, 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 drop mag, insert mag, boom, 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 drop mag, insert mag, boom, 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 boom. He's not dead yet. Oh, yeah, he is. Damn, I was overshooting. Hold, change targets. Hold on. Wait a minute. Stop. I want to kill you, too. Boom, 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 boom. And, oh, wow, I'm out. Well, 1, 2, 3 steps, and boom, 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 boom. That's how things better be. Like the old Finnish guy I've talked about for years. Guns are for buying, not for selling. That was his motto. Every corner has got 1 to 3 guns in the room. Each room. You go to each room, more guns. If you sat down on a couch, you say, watch out when you sit down. Why? Because in every corner, you slide down your hand there, caller, between the cushion and the side of the couch, there's 1 to 2 handguns. Every place you sit, there was a shotgun, that's hanging on the coffee table up underneath. That's on your side. Then there's a bolt-action rifle under the coffee table on hangers on the other side, up underneath the table. Spare ammunition is in little hangers right up under there, too. You grab one, you got a little ditty bag. That's the whole guy's house, and all of his sons and all of his family are the same way. That's how, you know why he's like that? That man survived the Finnish Cold War. You know what he did for, to stay alive? He killed a whole stinking pile of communists. And he never stopped killing them. So, you'd say communist, his face, his teeth would grit, okay? And that's how all of you better be thinking. You're going to learn real quick here, if you haven't already in the last couple of weeks, when you hear the word communist, your teeth should be gritting right now. Go ahead, caller, jump in there. I think it sounds like we're having somebody else who's having a fight, a debate, or a conversation that is separate from what we're doing.
I don't know, but thanks a lot, Mark, for your time. I got you distracted.
No, that's something. Thank you for bringing it up. Seriously, when you run into something like that, we need to hear about it. Now everybody else needs to put their ear to the rail. But you gave me a chance to tell you what I'm going to say right now again. Guys, when you go to the range, you pick up every stinking piece of brass you see. You grab all the shotgun shells, go over to the recycle bin, grab these big kitty litter 3-gallon, 4-gallon containers. They got a wide mouth. Stick all that stuff into those containers as long as it's dry, and put the lid on it. You know what? Doesn't cost you jack squat. You got the container for free, you got the brass for free. But if you need it like we're going to need it, every stinking piece of brass you got's going to be used.
Exactly.
No matter... Okay,
thank Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing up the subject. Go ahead, caller. Who do we have?
This is John from Kentucky. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are things down there on the ridge? You got stupid people in government down there too.
We got stupid people everywhere.
They're everywhere now.
I basically wanted to add in your regards of reloading. Midway carries a good supply of reloading equipment.
Thank you.
Molds, dies, presses, scales and balance, lead pots for melting lead. I've been casting and reloading for, 40 years, maybe 50. And I recommend it highly, always have. I don't buy factory ammo anymore. I haven't in years. I just make my own. Pick up all the lead you can. Wheel weights are getting difficult to find. But any kind of lead, you need to put 300 or 400 pounds in your backyard. I've got a little bit more than that, times 2 or 3. But lead is like coal. You can bury it, and it'll be there when you go back for it. Over. Yeah,
lead's not going anywhere. A good point on that one, too. Guys, lead, when it oxidizes, this is something that they proved in all the surveys. Lead self-encapsulates and will not break down. In other words, you get that little dusty white patina on the outside. That's as far as it oxidizes, guys. So you have like a lead mine. If you just take all the spent bullets you can get, you put them in even if you dumped them in a spot in the backyard, that's a lead mine. You can come back to it any time you want to and recover every piece. Personally, I'd put them in barrels or something. Why not? Makes it easier to find. But you're absolutely right. Again, it's one of those products where you don't need to process it right away, guys. Get it to where you control it and process it as you need it.
I pick up range lead. And,
Yep.
Plate it. I melt it down. I cast it in 1 pound ingots, and they're very easy to stack. I've got a 10-pound underfeed Lee mold, and you can drop in 2 or 3, add a few more, and just keep casting. But I use the range lead, melt it, clean it, and then cast it into small ingots that are easy to transport, stack, whatever you want to with. Stack them in your walls. Use them as, RF shielding. There's things you can use it for.
Well, one of the things I recommend, take those kitty litter buckets or 5-gallon pails or whatever you got that's a container you can seal, which would be best. And like on the lead, as long as we're chucking it out of the side of a bank. In fact, you just reminded me, I guarantee there's a spot not too far away Nobody cleans the lead out of it. Last time we got like about 6 5-gallon pails just by taking it off the surface. We didn't even use a shovel other than just like use like a scoop. And what I do normally is I take the pistol lead and put the pistol bullets in one. Put the rifle bullets, jacketed or cast, in another. You can put the cast if you want to get one more sorting while you're handling them. Put the cast rifle in one, put the jacketed rifle in another. And then the shotgun slugs, put them over in a separate little, put the pumpkin balls over there on the right. That way when you cast, like for instance your pistol tin and antimony combination is pretty much going to be so close you won't care. You know what I mean? And yes. That way you're going to get greater consistency. Plus, when you do smelt on a large scale, you're going to remix everything, and whatever the mix is, look at it this way, it's fine. Even when you just do all of these together, if you didn't sort it at all, whatever your tin antimony combination is fine. Put a big circle OK around that, because most important is you get consistency from cast bullet to cast bullet. So if you did like 10 pounds of lead, you smelted those bullets, you mix it up, you stir it, just make sure, just a real gradual stir. We're not doing cake mixes, guys. And you pull off your slag, you pull off your dirt, tap that off to the side, and when it cools, use that for anti-personnel fragmentation. I take all the jackets and save all the jackets that bleed off. Down the road, that's what somebody's going to die with. Because what you do is stuff a flue gas with that. You take a 3-inch or 4-inch diameter pipe with a cap on the end. You put your charge in there, put your cardboard wad in, take a big handful of a big like 1 or 2 pounds worth of that scrap jacket you just had. Put that in there, put another cardboard on top with the fuse on the back when you got it sitting in between the sandbags and you touch it off. Oh man. It's a people shredder. It would be an absolute people shredder. And there's no way that would just finish a person right there, right where they need to stop. So just something as an idea.
Lyman has formulas or recipes or whatever you would describe it as, where you use so many pounds of range lead, so many wheel weights, so many pounds of pure, and maybe some solder, and you come up with like a number 2 lead, or it tells you about the hardness of it. And then you can categorize your lead by hardness that you've made, you've melted, recast, and then use that for, pure I go for muzzle loading. Hard cast for pistol and then, rifle. And on the rifle I use just a gas check. Don't usually do them on pistol, but I can. I've got them.
Thank you for bringing up Midway, by the way, because right there at the top of the page when I did bullet molds, Lee 6-cavity bullet mold, 356 diameter, 125 grain, 2R model, 9mm Luger, 38 Super, 380 Auto, this one I was talking about. It is a multi-station mold for $43.99, right there. Round nose, exactly what I was talking about. And again, now you take that and copper wash it. And that bullet, I'll tell you what, she'll be clean enough for most of what you're doing. Again, if you were just using it for unit training for people that have to be familiarized, and guys, we don't blast with this stuff. We train with the ammunition. This is going to feed well. It's a round nose bullet. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. So if you got a 9mm pistol of whatever kind or a 380 auto, and 38 Supers in the same category, then that's a solution. They also have, again, the Lee multi-cavity 6-point in 45 in 357 diameter, and needless to say, 22 caliber. Really? 6-cavity, 22 caliber. Oh, cool. I haven't seen those in a while. I didn't know they even had them in stock anymore, but they have them in stock. I'm reading the ones that are in stock. For those of you guys bowling with 45 ACP, 45 jacketed rounds should be saved for people. If I'm going to shoot somebody, I'm going to shoot them with the best round I have. I'll still shoot them with lead, but for training, I use the lead projectiles.
Oh, on the lead, you need to back off on the powder charge quite a bit. but it's covered in your books. Lyman has books covering cast lead reloading. Lyman has cast lead information. So, you're going to step it down because you want to stay under, I don't know, I think it's under 900 feet per second on lead.
Right.
It's shearing as it goes along. So it's a practice round. Target load. It's efficient. It'll kill. It'll kill. But you can get a lot more shooting out with less powder. And then you can recover your lead if you're shooting on a private range. Over.
Oh, exactly. One of the things, too, again, a lot of places, they're happy if you carry it away. Of course, everybody needs money, but the scrap price is down. So if they're having to pay somebody to clean something up, they're not getting that much back for it. And usually it has to be a volunteer thing. Well, if you volunteer, you get the goodies. So, and if you know where any ranges are, don't tell anybody else. You sort out and get the goodies yourself. We need them in our hands, not somebody else's. So I appreciate that. Anything else? We're all.
I'll back out. Let somebody else add to the conversation.
Very good. Thank you. And again, I'm going to put this out there again. MidwayUSA.com, www.midwayusa.com, midwayusa.com, midwayusa.com, and yes, they have the 9mm multi-station Lee 6-cavity molds. Yes, they do sell other molds. You can get Lyman, several others here. Not a problem. Two station as opposed to, or one station as opposed to 6-point. But for volume casting, you want to get production. The 6-cavity molds are very, very, very desirable. Okay, and there are other solutions. That's not the only one. But take a look at what they have and find the one that floats your boat, fits your needs, and makes you happy. It's that simple. Another thing here is, go ahead.
I was going to add one other thing. The Lyman 450 sizer luber is a nice thing to have because with the proper dye in your sizer, you can swedge them to the proper diameter, and at that point you can add lubrication into the gas or grease grooves.
Very good.
A Lyman sizing lubing, and that way you can lube them and size them to the proper dimensions. And that always helps. Over.
Excellent. And again, invest in all of the components, the accoutrements that are needed, the technology. When you're going to be doing bullets, you're going to be swaging. You may do some spur trimming. There's all kinds of tools out there to clean up and to modify what it is that you have that you're putting together. So do the research and figure out, well, who's who in the zoo and what makes sense for you. That's really what you need to, again, pay attention. There's all kinds of good company books out there on the subject. Every company, every bullet company, and every powder company makes reloading manuals. Now, another thing is watch for the old stuff laying around out there, because there is a lot of really cool older stuff laying around out there. And it's not hard for you to get hold of, some pretty decent information and technology and build up a library, which should be your priority right now. And again, preferably darn, they sold out. We brought up a subject and they sold something out, which is not a surprise. I'm not going to say any more. I don't want anybody else to grab them. I want them. Anyway, Well, I will say this, something else.
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead, caller, jump in there.
Hey, every time people shoot here, I'm always outside afterwards with a coffee can, picking up all the grass. My yard at one time looked like World War III broke out with many different calibers: 308, 306, 223, 45-3, and many more. It just looked like a battlefield. I'm thinking, man, I better pick them up before the cops or something come here and think that a war broke out or something.
Right, and again, the most important, don't want the stuff to lay out in the weather if you can help it anyway. Even if it has, remember, if you have stuff that's weathered, isolate it and take the time to sort out if it's got some oxidation or whatever, brass has got discoloration. Separate that and put it into a separate container. when the time comes, that's your first priority for loading, especially if you're looking at something where you may be leaving it behind as battlefield pickup, or forgive me, battlefield discard, where you don't have time. That's the stuff that I would use. And yes, I do engineer that tightly. I would be selecting based on this idea because, guys, we're going to have to husband our resources. We are going to have to make sure that we go step by step through all of these processes, and we're going to make every shot count. That's the most important aspect of what we're dealing with here. Hits count, misses don't, and we got to make sure it happens. I was noticing here with Midway, they had MP4 gas masks without the filters for $20. They're already out. There aren't any available. They're gone. So I mentioned, I'm just going to mention that they were there. I have plenty of filters. I could just use more masks. And $20 is reasonable, but right now they're not available, and in fact, they're gone. Now, I wanted to touch on something else before we go any farther. And I understand the problems of different companies, but right now especially what you're going to find is, what you get is what you get. In the gas masks, you're going to have a mix of things that are going to show up for different reasons. If you're looking at something that is components, in other words, like I just mentioned a minute ago, the filter is not there, chances are the masks, they may or may not be brand new. In many cases, they're pilfering for what is a brand new mask in one pile because the filters, if they attach them to another mask that may not even be as good a shape, but is more popular, they make more money on. Okay, that's something that happens quite a bit. No, thank you. I'll cover that in a minute here. Anyway, one of the reasons I bring this up is there was a piece done by Chris about the Polish MP5s, and this has to do with Bud K. Bud K is a roller coaster. Number one, I've told you a million times, they don't do surplus. It's a sidebar. They do surplus, but only because they make a deal at the Army-Navy trade shows, and they know the people, and there's an interest in the market, so they grab what they grab. The MP5s that we've gotten from there have been a mix. I would point out that, we have talked about them on the air. They are an excellent gas mask. I will not hesitate to wear the ones that I have, and in fact, I've even traded some out to one of our other allies, and we'll be doing that again, maybe if need more. But these are, in this case, they were complaining that these apparently are used where they were supposed to be like new. Well, that depends. The mask itself may be, the components may or may not be. Most of what's being used out there, the masks were sold separately in the surplus circles. The most common cheap bag I'm seeing out there is not a Polish bag, or for that matter, a Eastern European bag. It's the French or French-German triple pouch vinyl gas mask bag. That's apparently, it's a drug on the market. There's a ton of them out there in the surplus circles where the strata where you guys don't buy, up at the wholesale and jobber end. And they may also drop the filters, but when you see wear on a filter, I'm going to point something out. The wear that you're seeing on the filter is because of carry wear. A lot of times, I'm looking at the one mask here, or the filter, and it's like, well, I can see that there's scuff marks. Well, it's not because they dragged it down the road. It's that whoever was wearing that mask wore it religiously, which the polls, by the way, are pretty good at NBC. And we've mentioned this kind of like holster wear on pistols that don't get shot. Okay? Lots of carry time, wear time on all the leading edges. Used to be we'd see this with revolvers all the time. It's why a lot of revolvers ended up getting either re-blued real heavy or chromed. And if they got chromed, it's because they got worn and they got rusted. So if you see an older chrome or brushed chrome pistol, this was a way to breathe life into the weapon and prevent it from oxidizing anymore. Well, with equipment, I've talked about this on the air many times. Guys, it's one thing if you take 10 steps with equipment and gear on. It's another thing if you walk for miles with that piece of equipment and all the other gear you got. If you have something moving around, it will rub. When it rubs once, the paint doesn't come off. When you rub 20 times, the paint doesn't come off. But when you step, step, 2 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles, 100 miles, then everything on your leg is flexing. Okay, this is like MREs. You know, they tested MRE pouches. You know how they did it? They actually have a machine that flex until the material is fatigued from repetition. They want to see how many flexes it can handle until it fails. Well, paint and rub points are the same way, and stuff that's inside bags that are pretty resilient or very heavily built, or canvas, or even cotton, cotton canvas cloth, either heavy gauge or the smoother, lighter weave. Guys, those are abrasive surfaces, and every time that you move, something wears. This is why when you carry gear and you after a while, guys, you pull mags out of the mag pouches, and they've got wear points on all the leading edges. You didn't pull them out, pick them, pull them out and put them in, pull them out and put them in. No, just moving back and forth. If there's any kind of give at all, and even if there isn't, in the long, long haul, wear on surface points takes place. So I'm addressing that because what I'm seeing with the complaint here that was sent, it was about what this person dealt with. And having been in the surplus industry, I kind of warned you about this. I've dealt with them for many, 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 many years. You're going to get a roller coaster of material and equipment. The mask itself is virtually new, unissued, original, old inventory. Not super old, but it's, again, original inventory. The mask is as expected. Now, there were some storage issues with the mask, not with the mask rubber, but the lens. And I will remind everybody that different people come up with different ideas. Anyway, with different ways that things are stored, the ideas that they had were sound, but they created other issues in the long term, so now there's something else you have to deal with. Just something to remember about that. We're pretty close to the top, so I think I've touched on that enough too. Again, first of all, there's only so many gas masks out there. You're now seeing agent deployed as we expected. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody sent me some of their. Yeah, in fact, again, sucking vapors. You're seeing lots of them suck vapors, and in their stupidity, nobody had the ability to protect themselves. And watch the videos for the last 2 days out of Washington, D.C. Great digital, high-quality battlefield footage of the Antifa troops on the front line getting their ass gassed. Okay, it's fun to watch. But again, get a gas mask, get a gas mask, get a gas mask, get a gas mask. Apparently, Lenoir County, Lenoir, Lenoir County? Oh, this is actually 4. Okay, listen up. Thank you. I got to get this in before we get to the top. North Carolina Cooperative Extension. Lenoir County Center, 1791 NC11, Kinston, North Carolina. Purpose, special meeting pursuant to GS 143, I'll skip that. Chairman of Lenoir County Board of Commissioners does hereby call an emergency meeting to be held at 10 a.m. on Thursday, that's during the week, June 25th, 2020, for discussion about Confederate Monument, which is erected at the Kinston-Lenoir County Visitors and Information Center, located at 101 East New Bern Road, Kinston, Kinston, North Carolina, to maintain the safety of the citizens, staff, and commissions, as well as prevent the spread of corona beer virus. The Board of Commissioners meeting scheduled for 10 a.m. Thursday will be conducted electronically from the NC Cooperative Extension, Lenoir County Center, located at 1791, blah, blah, blah. You have the address. I'm not going to repeat that. Well, 1791 NC11. They're going to do it electronically anyway. The agenda can be accessed and is available on the Lenoir County government website at www.co.lenoir.nc.us /documents /062520220 fullagenda.pdf. The public and news media can view the meeting via the Lenore County website at www.co.lenore.nc.us. All public comments for the agenda should be submitted to the link listed below no later than Wednesday. Yeah, see, that way they're isolated, so they can figure out how to probably try and ship away and damage the Veterans Memorial. Before Antifa does, by the way. The communists are going to try to slide out the Veterans Memorial rather than defend it. Who knows? We'll see. Most of them are spineless curs, and they have no intestinal fortitude, nor any manly parts, nor a spine. They crapped it out their ass like a meat xylophone a minute ago. Anyway, Lenore County Commissioners call emergency meeting to discuss Confederate monument. It is one of the traditional, looks like one that's probably been moved to a more sophisticated location, very well constructed. Ergo, it's susceptible to being attacked. They should be calling on the militia and the locals to put a guard mount on the site. Nobody's discussed this for obvious reasons. Guard mount, guard mount, guard mount. How many of you have been in the military? You all know what I'm talking about. So you mean to say none of these jokers, nobody knows how to be a sergeant, nobody knows how to be a real lieutenant, and actually step forward and say, hey, asswipes, we need to protect the thing. Let's call on the manpower of the local community. Let's put a guard mount in place to set up an emergency announcement. They come in, we shoot them down. It's that simple. We're not going to let them fiddle fart with anything. They're done. Everybody, of course, that's North Carolina. You guys got to figure out what you're going to do. Lenore, Lenoir, County Commissioners call emergency meeting to discuss Confederate monument. Let's see whether or not it's to discuss or betray their heritage and scuttle it down the road somewhere to hide it. Piss on these fools. We'll see what happens, though. Like I said, I shouldn't say that. Maybe they've got a spine, but they're politicians, and typically they have none. So they'll betray the community and they'll screw their heritage. That is June 25th, 2020, by the way, and you should be able to find it. Lenore County Commissioners call emergency meeting to discuss Confederate monument. Let's see how the community is maybe either going to be protected, as in fight for it, or betrayed. We're at the top. You should be hearing the music here. It is Communications Tuesday. Your mind is your first best weapon, but by God, you better protect it. You better have some butt behind it. God bless our republic. Death to the New World Order. We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The Empire's on the run. We're in the march. We're going to get out of the way for now. Edward taking over. More LTR coming up. We'll be back at 8 o'clock with the evening intel report. Keep your pen and paper handy. And remember, there are archives of the programming. Take notes. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.